Today, I'm going to demonstrate how applications written in Node.js can be containerized and deployed, meaning being executed on a Kubernetes platform. To do that, we need to build Docker images, store them somewhere, and then make containers using them. So, first thing first, we need to open a free account in Docker Hub to maintain our images. I have already done that, so let me log in. After that, please go to the book's website and download these folders under Ch-02. As you can see, I have separated the whole procedure into three parts. The part that you actually write the code to perform some tasks, the part that we containerize our application and store it into Docker Hub so that we can repeatedly fetch and build services using them, and finally the part that we deploy services, meaning fetch and execute Docker images on our Kubernetes platform, which is Minikube in our case. So let's open the Visual Code and go to that folder. So let me explain each part. The first part is where we're going to write an application. In my case, it would be a simple dice roller. Like before, I have the main and have the test. So on the main file, I'm going to use Express and IP. I'm going to listen to port 3000. I'm going to look for JSON commands. And I'm going to enable get /, which means the service can be accessed through HTML. And I'm going to listen to /JSON. I'm looking for command, which is in my case is a simple one. It's like a roll dice. And I'm going to roll a dice for a limited number of times, and then I'm going to return all the numbers. On the test, as you can see, I'm going to use the Axio again. I'm going to send the Axio post, and I'm going to send two types of commands. One command roll dice or command roll dice for 10 times, for example. So here, the address would be localhost 3000. So let's compile and let's see how this works. Now let's execute the code. And here is a simple website for the code. And it says use JSON command to roll a dice. So let's go here and let's use the test command. So all good. The second step is to make a container from the Node.js that we just wrote. So let me just terminate this. And as you can see, it should not work anymore. Okay. Now to do that, we need to copy three files. One is the main application itself, and the two packages that we have built for that. Now we go to the Docker file, and I'm going to explain how it works. So it's very simple. You start from a specific image, it makes a working directory, it copies the JSON files, and it starts installing them. And then it would copy the main dice roller, which is the main application. It would expose port 3000, and then it's going to run the application itself. So let's go to this folder, and let's do all this step one by one. First thing first, we're going to build a Docker image using this command. This is okay, it is just telling me to upgrade. You can ignore. And then we're going to tag the image that we just built. Then we're going to log into our Docker Hub account. And then we're going to upload the image, or as it's called, push the image. And if you come to the Docker Hub, we see that we have an image now, and it's public. Now we're going to make service from that. So we use a Docker in this case. And this service is telling me that it's listening to this port specifically. So let's go to the test, and let's put these numbers here. So 172, 17, 0, 2. And there you go. We have the service again, this time as a Docker image, which is run in Docker. The service cannot be terminated on its own, so we have to find another way to terminate it. To get all the services, we use this command. And it shows that the service is running. And now we're going to terminate it using this command. It may take a while. And now the service is terminated. So if I run my test file again, I would not get anything because the service is dead. So let's go to the third step. Now we have a publicly available image, which is called simple roll dice service, and we see the files here. We also see the versions here. So I uploaded version 1, but you can also upload other versions as well. And this is how you can actually upload images to it. And it's also said Docker push. So let's go to the third step. In the third step, I'm going to deploy the service using two methods. One is through pods and the other one is through deployments. For pods, I'm going to deploy both directly and indirectly through YAML files. And for deployments, I'm going to do only through YAML files. So all the information is here. I'm just going to go through them and I'm going to show you how each of them work. So we don't need this file anymore. I'm just going to delete it. So let's go through method 1, which is via pods and is a direct way of doing it. So let's do that. We use the kubectl command to say that we're going to run a pod, and the image of the pod is the image that we just uploaded, and we're going to use port 3000 for it. And now I'm going to do another one, but I'm going to call it pod 2 because I'm going to show that there are going to be several copies of them and each of them would be independent. So I'm going to do another one. And now if I say kubectl get pods, you can see I have 2 running pods. But there's no way to contact them, so I have to expose these pods as services. So here is how I'm going to expose them again using direct command. I'm going to expose pod 1 as service 1, which is going to send traffic to port 3000 of the pod, and I'm going to use the second one, pod 2. I'm going to attach service 2 to pod 2 for myself. So now if I get the pods, I have 2 pods, and if I get services, I also have 2 services. Now I need to contact the services to do to roll the dice, and for that I have to use Minikube because Minikube is the one that is allowing me to communicate with them. So Minikube service list, and it gives me 2. Service 1, service 2, and gives me 2 IP addresses. Now let's go and plug these IP addresses into my tester and then see if it actually works or not. So 192, 168, 49, 2, and port 30725 JSON. So let's try that first, and it works. And if I go to the website now, local 3000 does not work anymore, but this address works. It's telling me to use JSON commands again. I can communicate with the second one as well. The port number is 31091. And both are working. So if I say kubectl get services, again I can see both of them up and running, and these are the ports, and I can get the information. The other way to do that via pod is to actually write these YAML files and then deploy them using the YAML files. So I have written them for you, so I'm going to explain them. So this is Kubernetes simple dice service through pods, and this is the pod command, this is the pod YAML. This is the part that it would actually produce the pod, and this is equivalent to the instructions to this one. So it's going to make a pod, and the name of the pod is this, and then this is the image, and then this is some limits like the amount of memory or CPU that the pod can use, and this is a service that it would actually be attached to that. So let's go and deploy them. Just clear again. So I'm going to use the command kubectl create f via fi. So we have to change the 20. So the pod is created, and now the service that is going to be attached to it will be created. Okay, now if you say kubectl get pods, now it should have 3 pods, and we should have 3 services. And if we write mini kube service list, it should give us the endpoint for the 3rd service, and this is port 30824. So let's try it. 30824. And let's try it. And this one also works. So the interesting thing is all of them are actually independent, and they all are working. So there are 3 independent services, and each of them are working just fine. So as we discussed before in the chapter, pods are good, but they're not the way we're going to deploy application. So we usually use them through the deployment, and the deployment is to make sure that they always stay alive, and then so they have more attributes to them. So I've also generated 2 YAML files to make a deployment, and also to attach a service to the deployment. So let me go here and let me deploy them as well. So here is method 3 via deployment and YAML. So let me change the directory, and then we have kubectl make a deployment, and attach a service to it. Okay, now let's get the pods. Now I have 4. One of them is for my deployment. If I get the deployments, I have 1 deployment. And if I get services, now I have 4 services, as you can see. And if I go to minikube, get the service list, now I have 4 endpoints. So the last one, 31616. So let's try that one as well. And this one also works. And as you can see, they are all independent. 4 independent applications, all being deployed using the same image, and they are totally independent from each other, meaning I can kill one of them and the other one will work. So let's do that. Let's kill one of them and then see if the other ones work as well or not. So here is the last part, which is called to clean and delete. So let me delete service 1, which is for the first part that I have manually deployed. So let me just kill this service. So if I say give me the service list now, so the first one is gone now, but the rest are still working. So for example, the last one that I have just deployed is still working. I can do better than just deleting any service. Specifically, I can delete all the services altogether. So if I do that, I will not have any service, and therefore all my endpoints are dead now. It's important to know that we still do have the pods up and running, but there's no service attached to them, so that's why we cannot use them. So I'm going to go and delete all my deployments as well. In this case, only one deployment, and all my pods. And now my Kubernetes images are all deleted and all gone. To test that, if we go to this website, they're all dead. And if I come here, after it finishes, I will actually show you that there's no pod or services running in here. No pods, no services, all clear.